Hello everyone, welcome inside Canada Life Centre. This is the Winnipeg Jets Postgame Show presented by Budweiser. I'm Sara Orlesky. 4-1 Columbus was the final in this game. Game 2 of this 4-game homestand for the Winnipeg Jets, and they came into this game after that hot start on Tuesday night in which they were able to shut out the Colorado Avalanche 5-0, but it was not the Jets' night tonight. So many of the plays and the style of play that we have come to expect from them this season, not on display this evening. This was a rough game for them. There is no highlight of the night when you lose 4-1, but we will take you to one of the key plays of the game, and it was early on, and it came from a very familiar face to Winnipeg Jets fans. Patrik Laine making his return to the lineup for Columbus tonight after missing the last 7 games with an ankle injury, and he got the Blue Jackets on the board first, 1-0. It was his first of 2 goals of the evening. There aren't many players. A great pass coming across from Johnny Gaudreau, but there aren't many players that can make a shot like that. That was a beauty of a shot by Patrik Laine. Happy to be joined by Derek Meech. Derek, okay, first off, your overall thoughts of this game. As I mentioned right off the top a couple seconds ago, certainly not the type of game that we have been used to seeing from the Winnipeg Jets.
No, it isn't, and it comes off of a huge win against the Colorado Avalanche, which the Jets came out and played one of their best games of the year, really. And so it was a little surprising to see a game like this out of the Jets tonight. But they had a good start. They came out in the first 5 minutes. A couple good opportunities on net. Korpisalo did a great job in this hockey game, I thought, making the saves when he needed to. And then from then on, the Blue Jackets top line picked it up and really took over the game with some amazing passes from Johnny Gaudreau, and of course a couple goals from Patrik Laine that sort of buried the Jets in this one.
Yeah, I think that when you look at the way that the Jets have played recently, whether it be contributions across the board from all 4 lines, in the last game obviously we really saw their top players step up as well. This was a game in which from the beginning it was the Columbus line of Johnny Gaudreau, Boone Jenner, and Patrik Laine that really stood out.
Yeah, and I think in this game the Jets really had a tough time managing the puck, I thought, especially in the latter part of that first period into the second period. And again, you see this pass from Johnny Gaudreau. He barely even takes a look cross ice between a couple sticks right in the back of the net. And then again here, Boone Jenner comes flying right through the middle of the ice. And then just lays it right on the tape, Patrik Laine. So you're seeing all these chances right from the Blue Jackets' own end, and this is sort of the story of the night for the Jets. Is again, when you don't tighten up in that neutral zone, you allow those passes coming through. The speed comes and the puck's behind you before you know it. So good job by the Jackets.
Well, and so often we've talking about how they've tightened up in that neutral zone. As you mentioned, that transition game, they haven't been feeding into it for opposing teams, and it just seemed that the Jets tonight just from the beginning, really, even though there were some good opportunities for them that you never know could have changed the tide a little bit, they just always seem to be maybe a step behind. Yeah,
they kept feeding the Blue Jackets transition game, and you saw that as the game progressed. I thought in the second period, though, they did come out. The Dubois line, I thought, started to get things rolling a little bit. They had some good pressure in the offensive zone there, and they had all 4 lines really rolling. Some good shifts there out of the Jets. But again, when you start chasing the game early on, it kind of bites you, and that's exactly what happened in this game. You've seen some of these great chances here. Again, Korpisalo really good on his rebounds. Obviously, that one just hits him off of his skate, but he was really sharp in this game, again, making those saves when he needed to. Morgan Barron had a couple really magnificent chances on net. He had a solid game, and I think that's sort of what you see too, is when the game's not going the right way, you start seeing a little more out of the bottom 6 guys. And I thought when they had to, they came out and played pretty well, but too little too late at that point.
Well, Rick Bowness, we saw him adjust the lines as well throughout the game, try to get some things going when it wasn't working well. But as you mentioned, I mean, they were able to put in that was probably about that 10-minute mark, 9-minute mark in that second period where they were able to have that sustained pressure where you thought for sure, okay, this has to end in a goal with the way that they were able to hem Columbus into their own zone, but they weren't able to get it, and the one goal coming from Pierre-Luc Dubois late in that third period. All right, let's take a look. This kicks off the beginning of a very busy December for the Jets. You take a look at this month for it. The only days in which they have back-to-back days off without the game are over that holiday break right there. So not going to see a lot of practice time. I know that Rick Bowness had said that you will see a lot of video work. There's going to be a lot of video showing tonight. You know that Rick Bowness loves to. They're really about teaching. You know that there's going to be a lot of talk and a lot of teaching going on after what we saw tonight. But they come into this busy, busy month off of a great month of November. And you take a look at the month of November. I know that Rick Bowness has said that that's behind him. Doesn't worry about what happened in November, but you look at it, 9-3-0. They were able to score. They kept the goals down. I mean, obviously, Josh Morrissey was able to get things going. Kyle Connor as well. After his slower start compared to what we're used to seeing. But November in the rearview mirror, they're going to want to be able to bounce back quickly after this one. When you look at the way that that December schedule picks up for it, I mean, they had a quiet first half of November. It got busier in the second half, and now the busy December. What is the biggest challenge as a player when you're looking at a schedule like that?
Well, I think actually in this case, you know, they play 12 games in 20 days, really, heading into the Christmas break here. And I think as a player, that becomes a bit of a challenge. But on the other side of it, you're playing every second day. So you're able to stay fresh. Your sharpness is really good. And players thrive off that. So lots of games coming up. But again, this is what they do on a daily basis, and they're pros about it. So it'll be a good one.
All right, let's take a look at what the next 4 games are for the Jets coming up. For it, they get right back at it Sunday afternoon with the Anaheim Ducks. Now, take note of that time, 2 p.m. Love the afternoon games, always a good energy too. You usually see a lot of kids in the building as well. Florida Panthers close out the homestand, then it's back-to-back games in St. Louis and Chicago. All right, happy to have Morgan Barron me now. Morgan, obviously not the type of game that you guys were looking for, especially after what we saw against Colorado. Was this more, in your mind, what you guys weren't able to do, or was it what Columbus was dictating?
It was a little bit of both. I mean, they played a good game. But, you know, at the end of the day, I feel like that just wasn't the type of hockey we've become accustomed to playing. You know, most of their goals seem to come off the rush. And, you know, there's the chances that as a team, I think it's part of our identity to not give those up. You know, oftentimes you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot when they're scoring on those opportunities. They did a great job capitalizing. That's something we obviously couldn't do enough tonight. So, obviously some credit to them, but I felt like we gave them a lot of the chances that they scored on.
It seems like, in some ways, such a simple question, Morgan, but it has become the identity to cut down on those rush chances. What was it tonight, do you feel, that just as a group you weren't able to get it done?
Yeah, I just felt like we got a little bit impatient, you know, especially as the second and third forward kind of been on the forecheck. I felt like we were taking too many chances, diving down. You know I was kind of a part of that problem tonight. You just making bad reads and, like I said, a little impatient trying to create something instead of sitting on top of them and kind of frustrating them. So, you know, that obviously allows them to break out, and then, you know, some of the skill they have up and down their lineup. They're able to make plays on it and capitalize. So, yeah, it's something we'll have to clean up moving forward.
There were chances and opportunities, yourself included. One went off the post for it as well for it. Those are the ones that haunt a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather have the chances be coming and not going in than have no chances at all. So, you know, all I can do is keep shooting. Obviously, the team needs myself to bury some of those here eventually. But, you know, obviously, I think I want them more than anyone else wants me to get them. So, just got to keep shooting, and then eventually I think the numbers will turn here.
When you look at the way that Rick Bowness utilizes his lines right now for it, we see, I mean, he's up the lineup, times down for it. For you, where is your comfort level right now with respect to how you're being used?
I mean, I'm happy to play anywhere. I know I've probably spent the most time with Laus there on the third line, kind of playing in that checking role. So, you know, I'm obviously happy to do that, enjoy playing with those guys. And then the last few games I've played up with KC and those guys a little bit. So, you know, there's obviously adjustments when you're getting moved around with different guys. And it's always a learning lesson coming out playing with a different line. But at the end of the day, it's, you know, guys are going to get hurt. Guys are going to get shuffled through the lineup. And it's kind of our responsibility to just go and play wherever we're put. So I'm happy to do whatever.
Well, key part of the penalty kill as well. I know it's not the birthday result that you wanted, but a happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming and spending a couple minutes with us.
Thanks, Sara.
Thanks so much for it. And let's take a look at what the next game is coming up for the Jets. As mentioned, now they're going to be playing the Ducks. Some fast facts for it. Ducks play on Saturday against the Wild first. That is an afternoon game that they have. Only one of the 6 Ducks wins have been in regulation. This is the second of 3 meetings. Obviously, they were here on Hall of Fame night as well. That was the night Kyle Connor had his hat trick. All right, let's head now into the Winnipeg Jets room and hear from Pierre-Luc Dubois.
And who has who, and who we want to shoot the puck if they're going to have to shoot it. And you know, when they got those opportunities, they took advantage of them, and that was the difference tonight.
One of those games, I mean, the shot clock favors you guys, but it's tough to get the sense of the personality of the game because those chances they got were really quite good. How do you guys feel about what you guys did? Did you give yourselves enough of a chance?
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of scoring chances. We got some scoring chances. I mean, that's just how it goes sometimes. You know, no team goes 82 wins and zero losses. I mean, we got chances. They had quick chances, and they took advantage of them. And you know, there was good spurts in the game where we had the momentum and we were going around their zone. I thought, you know, the power play could have got us going, and it didn't. That doesn't help. But it's a long season. I mean, like I said, you can't win all 82, and we got to learn from this one tonight.
What was it on the power play timeout when first you went back out there after?
It was just not much, just a break, I guess. But yeah, power play could have been a difference maker tonight, and we didn't do a good job.
What wasn't working on the power play?
If I had the answer, probably wouldn't be here right now. Or answering this question. So, I'm sure do some video. We'll have a meeting tomorrow, and we'll talk about it. And we need the power play. I mean, the PK has been doing a good job this year, and the power play has been, you know, up and down since the start of the season. So we got to get some consistency there, and the team has to know that every night, if teams want to take penalties on us, we're going to take advantage or at least get the momentum, so we can do a lot better at that.
As you mentioned, you're not going to bring your A+ game all 82 games of the season, but how disappointing is it against a team like Columbus, who seems to be chasing for those points?
Yeah, I mean, it's a team that has nothing to lose, really. A lot of guys, young guys, they have an opportunity. You know, they come in and they want to prove that they belong here, and you know, they work hard, and there are 5 guys behind the puck and had 5 guys below the top circle and in the D zone, and you know, those teams are tough to play against because of that. You got to go through 5 guys, and they played well. Corpusalo played a good game, and yeah, it just happens.
I think the dagger was the 4th one. It seemed like even after 3-0, you guys seemed like there was a chance for you to come back.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that probably was the goal. That, I mean, there's always a chance, but that one really hurt. We were playing well to end that second period, and then obviously going down 4-0 is a lot different than 3. But yeah, that goal wasn't. That goal really hurt.
Number of good points from Dubois, as well as when we heard Morgan Barron when he was said, just really reiterating what you and I were talking about that transition game and not being able to take advantage of it. One thing that Dubois mentioned was the power play and how it could have been the difference maker tonight. It was only 1 for 5. That power play goal obviously coming late in the third off of Dubois' stick for it. It is a power play that has been up and down throughout this season. It just hasn't been able to find that consistency you would think that it would have, given the talent that's on it.
Yeah, for sure. There's so much skill out there on that power play, and it's one of those things where Dubois is right. You know, in a game like today, when you're trying to find a bit of a spark, your power play has to come out there and it has to be that spark. You got to be able to capitalize on those opportunities to instill a little bit of confidence in your group and get things going a little bit. And they weren't able to do that tonight. A little bit disjointed. Getting one at the end of the game was nice to see. It'd be good for their confidence going ahead here. But you know, again, a team that with this amount of skill, this should be one of the big areas of the game for the Jets to put them on top and give them an advantage in certain situations. You know, this Columbus Blue Jackets team is a team that the Jets at this point, you know, sort of come to expect to beat on a night like tonight, and so there's going to be some disappointment there. But again, the communication's been huge. Rick Bowness has done a good job, and the rest of the Jets coaching staff, and being up front and making sure that they nail down all the problems and issues as they come. And you expect no different out of a game like tonight. They're going to be back to the drawing board here and making sure that they're taking care of what they need to going forward. Well,
we're going to talk more about Rick Bowness and that coaching staff in just a minute, but let's head back into the Jets dressing room and hear from David Rittich.
You know,
for it.
Almost feel bad. I mean, in a 4-1 game, and the shot clock is what it is, but you had to deal with a bunch of cross-crease passes and things like that. So what did you see in the goals that they scored?
Good plays, good players, and when they see open guy on the back door, they're gonna make a play. So we gotta look at video tomorrow and figure out what we done wrong and how we can get better.
Without looking at obviously before you get a look at the video, when you got a chance to kind of watch things develop, how did you see the play in front of you for most of the night?
I mean, I can't say we play bad. We had enough chances to score, and I think we played pretty good hockey game. Just today didn't went our way.
When we look up at the press box, we look at a few of those goals. They look like they're you're in a really difficult position to save them. Almost impossible. I'm wondering how many goals you maybe regret in that game, if any.
I mean, maybe the first one, like get crossed a little faster, but that was really good shot by him, and last three, it's hard to do something there. But how I said, I gotta look at the video. If I could do something more, I'll work on it and see if I can get better in those situations.
Played with Johnny for a long time. Was it just sort of him at his best today, the way he was able to distribute the puck?
I mean, Johnny is Johnny, top player in the league, so I kinda knew what I can expect from him, and he made good plays.
You, Rick, has said you'd get a little bit more action in December. Are you looking forward to getting into a little bit more of a rhythm here, David?
Of course, who wouldn't, right? So I know my role. Every time I go internet, I want to win. Doesn't matter what. So I'm looking forward to play more games.
David Rittich not getting a lot of help tonight from teammates in terms of back checking or helping him out for it. You mentioned the communication aspect in Bowness and just that coaching staff in general. Here is a clip from Rick Bowness after practice on Thursday.
I always tell young coaches, it's not always your X and O's. It's the art of coaching. There's an art to this that can never be forgotten, can never be overlooked, and that would be the feel of what you're seeing and how you communicate with your players. Sometimes the X and O's, that's the easy part of coaching. The hard part is that art part.
And of course, we throw to that clip, and then what happens? He goes into the other room. So we'll react to that in just a minute, but let's head into the Matt Frost Center and hear from Rick Bowness.
Give up tonight on the rush. So that's just not our team. So we talked about that. We had to tighten it up. We were still in the game. Clearly, it wasn't our best. We got a lot of bad performances from a lot of players in that room. We did. The team game kind of went out the window at times, defensively. So we try to straighten that out a little bit. We gave them those goals as terrible coverage that we normally cover really well. But then if you look at the second, we're all over them. It's 3-0. We hit the post. We score there. I think the whole thing turns around, and then we give them the fourth goal. Just let them stop back checking properly. Simple as that. So, yeah.
Talked this morning about on-ice awareness. Was that one of the areas?
That would be on-ice awareness, timely goals, on-ice awareness. But again, it's just the goals they got were just way too easy. We don't give up those goals when we're on our game. So when I say there's a lot of bad performances from a lot of individuals, that's what I'm referring to.
I know you want all four lines to look like each other. I'm assuming that wasn't the case tonight.
It wasn't the case at all tonight.
Yeah, Lowry's line, fourth line, I mean, they looked like they were giving you some...
They were working. They were competing. They were doing the things that they need to do to have success on the ice. Yeah, they did their job.
I know you didn't like the defending off the rush. It seemed like Columbus was able to break out of their zone a little bit easier than other teams have.
Our forecheck, our forecheck wasn't the structure on our forecheck. That's why they came at us in the first. We kept losing. We were on the wrong side of guys, and when you're on the wrong side of guys in the forecheck, you're chasing the game. So we're chasing them back instead of cutting them off. When you're above guys, you can cut them off and slow them down. We're just on the wrong side of the guys. We're on the wrong side of the puck, which allowed them to come at us with speed and made it wait. That's what I'm talking about, giving up all these chances on the rush. It starts on the forecheck. That's where it starts. And the forecheck was just on the wrong side of guys.
Anything to that game have anything to do with the high of coming off of shutting out the Stanley Cup champs?
It shouldn't. Listen, we're in a dogfight to make the playoffs. Every game's important. I don't care who we play. Just like I said this morning, we set the standards of how we're going to play, regardless who we play. And if that, and as I told them after the game, it's all on every individual. Look at yourself first. Don't look at anything else. Look at yourself first and foremost. Good. Go ahead.
Sorry, on the fourth power play, you put the first line out for 45 seconds or 30 seconds. You put the second line out for 45, and then you put the fourth line out for 30. Was that a statement to
Yep. Power play wasn't even close. That power play could have turned the game around for us, and they didn't. And they didn't execute. No, so that's on them. So yeah, there's a statement. You're not going to work. You're not going to go back out.
You're sending clear messages, obviously. How do you hope that these guys respond?
They'll respond. We're a good team. They're good people in that room. They care. We had a bad night. They'll respond.
Yeah, sorry, I was just going to ask you that, Rick.
Yep.
The bad night, because I think you described Minnesota as a one-off. Did this have the same
You're going to have
similar
these.
deal?
Yeah, we weren't good tonight. We'll bounce back. It's a good group, and they care, and they want to win. And we had a bad night. We'll move on and get ready for Sunday. Thanks.
One of the things that we often say about Rick Bowness, and something that players credit him with, is that it is always very clear where he stands on things. And listening to his comments right there, I mean, he made it very clear what his feelings were on the game here tonight.
Oh, definitely. It's never in question on what his thoughts are on certain aspects of the game or practice or, through day to day this season. He's been very forthcoming, and it's actually really nice to see. It seems like the guys are responding really well to it, and it's something as a player that you really value, because everybody wants to know where they stand in that room. There's no guessing. Guys seem to have known that up until this point in the season. And again, like he's saying that guys weren't good enough out there tonight, and so he's going to put the guys that are working on the ice, and that's just the facts. Everybody's seeing the same stuff, and he's not throwing any of his guys under the bus. It's all about accountability and bringing your best to every single game, every single practice, and that seems like the message that Rick Bowness is trying to get through to his players. But again, it's a long season. You're going to have off nights, like some of the guys have mentioned. But the key is making sure that you nip it in the bud and not let these things become a big snowball of a problem going down the stretch.
That idea of accountability that I love, and rewarding those that are playing well, maybe taking ice time away from those or not, so that everybody feels, regardless of if you're on that top line or that fourth line, as if your play can be rewarded and you can get additional minutes off of that. When you think about your playing career at the various levels for it, did you have any coaches that were great communicators? And if not, would you have liked to have had them?
Well, right off the hop, I guess going back to junior hockey, I had Brent Sutter and Red Deer for the Rebels. Very fortunate to come into a very good team. We won the Memorial Cup my first year there, but you knew right away, stepping into that dressing room, how things were going to go. Yes, he did clear the stick rack a couple times, but you gained a lot of respect. His number one line was, if you go through the wall for me, I'll go through the wall for you, and that's what he acted upon day to day. You had to show up. You had to be a good guy, a good player on the ice and off the ice, and that seems like the same messages you're hearing from Rick Bowness. It just changes a little bit as you get into the next level. The forgiveness starts to go away a little bit. You can't make as many mistakes, and you have to make sure that you are a pro and you're bringing it every single day, because there's always a team ready to come in here and take it away from you. You
look at these videos, you see, what I love is that it's not just Rick that's out there communicating. You have to look at that entire coaching staff as a whole. And when speaking with players, one of the things that's really stood out to me is how much they have embraced it up to this point. I think that is a group in that dressing room that, yes, it was an off night tonight. It was not at the level that Bowness has come to expect, that the players within that room have come to expect as well. But they are a group that loves to learn. I think that you think of the players that are in there that would love to watch video. We would joke that, if you let Mark Scheifele stay on the ice for 4 hours after practice, he probably would. But just that teaching that goes on, especially with a group like this that's trying to rebound back, that's trying to develop that new identity, just how important all of this can be.
Yeah, the whole team aspect, bringing everybody together, relying on each other, and not letting up on the accountability side of things. You got your teammates on you, and in this game at this level, there's always someone ready to take your spot. You have to make sure that you're bringing that same level every single day. So, just fantastic to see what the coaches have done so far, and the challenge will continue here, especially getting into a month where you're playing 12 games in 20 days, 6 at home, 6 away, with some travel, and that becomes a bit of a grind.
So the Winnipeg Jets, obviously not the result they were looking for. 4-1 was the final in favor of the Columbus Blue Jackets tonight. They do get back at it, though, on Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. They are now 8-3 on the season at home. But you hate, it's a Friday night. It's the start of a weekend. You don't want to end things necessarily always on a sour note. So how about this to put some smiles on your face? I mean, who doesn't love this? You can never go wrong. When in doubt,
This is fantastic.
always throw
The puppy.
dogs and puppies up. Everybody, this can bring a smile to your face. Just a reminder, and we've mentioned it before, that charity initiative this year from the wives and girlfriends. It's the Jets Pets 2023 calendar. It is for sale at all Jets gear locations. I guarantee you this calendar is not going to last long. There is even a page, my favorite one, there is a roster page where it has all of the dogs' names. It's fantastic. Anyways, you don't want to miss it. It is going to sell out soon. So make sure that you go and get it. A great stocking stuffer, a great Christmas gift for it. Okay, that is it for us. Derek, always appreciate the insight, always appreciate the time. That is it for our post-game show presented by Budweiser. We will see you Sunday after the game against Anaheim.